Hello, the internet. This is the Art Life video blog, episode 116. My name is Conor Appleby. I'm from Barnard, Vermont. It is the 4th of July, 116th episode. The birth of our nation, the birthday of Rube Goldberg, I learned today.
Interesting.
He's the guy who made all those weird contraptions with the boots, and they're super complicated. He's making one of those in hell right now, maybe. I don't know what kind of guy he was.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday, Rube Goldberg.
My name is Jacob Wolf. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Connor is my roommate.
Indeed.
For a little over a month now.
Yep. Coming up on 2 months.
He's going pretty good.
Yeah.
I like him. think we'll keep him for a little bit.
It makes one person. Makes me feel good.
I think there's a few people in the house that like you too.
Okay, at least, yeah, you know.
So you are a stand-up comedian.
I am attempting stand-up. I just moved to Portland about 2 months ago, and I've been doing like stand-up in this comedy room my brother started back in Vermont. But I felt like I wanted to move someplace to cut my teeth. Because in Vermont, they're just happy you're not, mud and snow, and, they're just happy someone is there doing anything other than just, dealing with snow or cutting down trees.
So your brother opened up a comedy club?
It's a comedy room in calling it a comedy club is kind of a stretch. It's technically called the Woolen Mill Comedy Club. It's cool because there's kind of like a burgeoning Vermont comedy scene going on right now, but I've been obsessed with comedy for a long time, and I, procrastinated forever in terms of starting, and I just wanted to get out of New England in general, but I just wanted to go someplace, and this is a great comedy town. I haven't really delved in too deep because I have only been here for a couple months, but I've gone to a few rooms I like, a few rooms that I don't really like, and I'm kind of searching right now for my main room. I kind of had my home kind of club at the Woolen Mill back home, but not only that, I for years I was a musician, and I was focused on music, and I was obsessed with music. I've always been obsessed with comedy. I remember I think I was 12 years old, 11 or 12, and my mom got my brother and I jamming in New York, the George Carlin album.
Okay. And
I probably listened to that, I can't tell how many, probably at least 2 or 3 times a week for 5 years. I got all, and George Carlin was just a hero of mine. I love on the Todd Glass podcast, he's an atheist, but when he really means something, he goes to George Carlin. I swear on George Carlin. That's his threshold in terms of I actually mean this, But I was obsessed with music. I was in bands. That was actually the first time I came through Portland was 2010. I was in a band. I was the banjo player in a band called the Primals. I liked the town, and I had a buddy out here, so I just thought I'd come check it out again. But it's funny. It's I lost interest in music just because I kind of fell out with a lot of the band members and just being around music in general, and I'm just generally I need validation constantly. I need people going, "You're doing a good job," which is funny to get into comedy because you want validation and you're getting the opposite most of the time. But if you have enough of a drive, you can get through that. Nobody's good when they start. But, I thought if I can, I'm kind of searching for my inspiration in terms of music again. And,
the songs that I hear you playing, are those yours or are they all covers?
No, most of them are mine. I have a few standby covers that I just like to play for myself, Angel from Montgomery by John Prine. And so they're just certain songs that just kind of get, really nailed into your head that are just fun, that you don't, it's I have one of those brains that just will not shut the fuck up ever, and it's nice to have a couple of those songs that are it's the closest I can come to meditation, I guess. Even though there are thoughts like going through there, but it's I just don't really think about much. But yeah, most of them are covers. Like I'd consider myself more of a songwriter than a musician. I can write a song pretty well, but in terms of playing with other people, it gets kind of tricky. I don't have the best timing. Like I think I'm a decent singer and a decent like plucker, but I have issues with timing.
Right on. We'll have to get at least one song of yours today.
Oh yeah.
Recorded.
Yeah, sure, I can do that. On this?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
The pizza should be done soon, so we'll run inside when that's done.
Right on. Yeah. I assume you're gonna edit this.
No.
No? Okay, cool. Yeah. Pizza.
Yeah.
It's a way of life.
We're hungry.
Man's gotta eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuffed crust.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm excited.
So,
your brother's comedy room is where you started. How long ago was that?
That's like over the past winter. So it was like, it would be like blasphemous for me to call myself a stand-up comedian. I'm taking a stab at it.
Right on.
And I just write jokes a lot. Like I'm in the process of writing like a spec script, and like I think about jokes all the time because it's just kind of the way I deal with shit. It's hard to. I think laughter is like the most important thing. This is like the opposite of laughter. What we're like in terms of discussing comedy and what laughter means, but I really do think it's the most important thing. I'm never happier than when I'm laughing. Like,
do you laugh on stage?
Yeah, but I think that's more of like a nervous reaction. That's more of a like trying to ground yourself, and like maybe it's kind of cheating a little bit, where it's like, see, it's a joke, get it? Huh? Right? I'm laughing. That means you should laugh. I should probably get away from that, But like, yeah,
I always The reason I ask is because I think the funniest comedians always think they're funny. Like they're laughing at their own shit as they're telling the jokes.
Yeah, I mean sometimes it completely depends. Like that's the whole thing with comedy that's funny is that so many people will go to a comedy club and they're just like, I'm going to see comedy. Like they don't really put it into classes where it's like, or genres. Like there's some, where it's like, first of all, it's weird how it's divided amongst like racial lines a lot of the time and gender lines, and you have black shows and Latino shows and women shows and gay shows and
a big pet peeve of mine when it comes to comedy is like the fat Mexican guy doing only jokes about like being fat and Mexican.
Yeah, I totally get. I was actually listening to a podcast today, Ari Shafir's Skeptic Tank, where he was talking to...
and I'm not just picking on fat Mexican people, like black women doing jokes about...
Yeah, that's anybody just telling the joke where you can look at them and you go, oh, that's what they're going to tell jokes about.
Right,
like,
you're like basically falling into your own stereotype on purpose for the sake of making other people laugh.
I think it's like easy, like some people will justify it by saying like laughs are the bottom line basically, but I think any artist, like whatever you're doing, should be like pushing yourself. Like I was listening to a podcast today, Davey Wester, who's a pretty unknown like kind of comic, he works as a comedian, but he's not like famous by any stretch of the imagination, but he has cerebral palsy. And, he's, kind of shaky or whatever. And he was talking about how he really strove to get over, like, telling jokes about the fact that he had cerebral palsy. Like, because and he did say, like, sometimes he'll do a room that's especially tough and he'll, like, go into that material. Because, that there's a reason that the fat Mexican or the, the whatever hack stereotype it is. The reason they do that is because it's easy. And people can immediately understand what they're talking about. And so, yeah, I think it's admirable to, like, break through that shit. And but, yeah, in terms of, like, laughing at your, like, I don't know. It completely depends. Like there are some comedians that I absolutely love who are just, you know, psychopathic rage on stage the entire time, and I'm laughing my ass off, but I know the last thing that's going through that guy's mind right now is like, I'm gonna have a chuckle at myself right now. It's like, I need to get this out, I guess, you know. But yeah, it's funny, like I'm my own worst enemy in terms of as a musician for a long time, and I would play wherever I could fucking find. And my friend in Australia really inspired me, because he was just one of these people who, he just played fucking music everywhere. Like, if he didn't have an instrument, he'd be singing and whistling. Or if he wherever he was, he would just like be plucking along or playing, and he just played music constantly. And I was like, I want to fucking do that. I want to take a page out of Brendan's book and do that kind of thing. Sorry about my smoke there. But
actually, can I get a cigarette
yeah,
from you?
oh yeah, for sure. And
Thanks.
so I really tried to do that for a long time, and I wrote a lot of songs, and I got involved with other musicians, and I, you know, part of that was going through a breakup. You know, there's nothing like a fucking shitty, terrible breakup. Nothing will kick you in the ass more in terms of I want to get good at something than you know, personal pain or whatever. But I really tried to do that, and I think I did well at it for a while, and it kind of makes me sad how it kind of went away, because it was just my life for a long time, and it was, you know, it was all I thought about. And I wanted, you know, it's funny, I wanted to be a comedian since I was a little boy, and I'm not sure if I've told many people this story. There was a period where, like, in like 7th or 8th grade, there were like a couple of friends that I had who we all liked comedy, and we would all watch, like, you know, Letterman or The Late Late Show or you know, Conan or whatever. And if there was a stand-up on it, we'd all, you know, meet in the halls and talk about, like, oh, did you see this? Did you see that? And we were all doing, like, theater, so we were like, oh, nobody's in the auditorium right now, let's sneak in and have our own little comedy show. And I ate my balls in front of, like, you know, 8 apathetic 7th graders, and like part of me, like, I didn't really even like register that I thought about it that heavily at the time, but then later I realized, oh, that might have put me off of it for a minute, because I like, it's funny, you think you're funny, like, with your friends, and then you get up in front of people, and it you know, everything changes. Like,
I was preparing to do an amateur night comedy club in Nebraska, and my buddy Bill would do that often, and he's like, just come out, come try it. I was like, all right. So I was like preparing, and then as a warm-up, I was like to my friends, I was like, I'll tell you guys a few jokes or whatever. And I started, and I failed miserably in front of my friends, and then I was just like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, it's almost that, like, masochistic level where it's like, I know it's not going to work out. It doesn't work out a lot of the time, and I feel like if I did it more than like 5 times and it never worked out, then I probably would have quit. But then you get a couple. It's one of those things that I thought about for so long, and then when I finally...
Pizza's ready? Right on. We'll be in a few. Did you take it out? Use the cardboard box. Or tell Dylan to do it. Thank you.
I can't remember what...
Masochistic.
Oh, no, it's like, what happened with me basically was, you think about this thing for so long and what you're gonna do and how you think you're gonna be great at it, and then you wake up in the morning hungover and you go, oh, I'm not gonna be good at it. And as a drinker, you have those ups and downs. It happens. But I had my jokes and I prepared them, and I thought the writing was pretty solid, but you get on stage and you're not expecting it, and you get kind of that flop sweat. And the thing that kind of brings me out of it out of that and being more comfortable is just like talking to the people in the audience. Just and it's funny how like there's so many divisions where people tend to think that like crowd work is hacky or it can be difficult, it can be easier, or whatever. I would just do it a little bit just to feel comfortable at all, just to feel like I'm not in this fishbowl on stage, that I'm actually like engaging with people or whatever. I mean, and that's what I realized too is about like most of my music doesn't have a lot of really like they have heavy themes to them, but they're not done in like a brooding sort of like emotional way. I approach it from more of a like almost like whether it's like a laugh out loud funny thing. I believe in punchlines, like even if it's not like I believe in punchlines in terms of conversation is an art, which I don't know how you describe the art of my conversation because I tend to steamroll people, which is just involuntary. I'm just a fucking motor mouth. I can't help it. But yeah, listening is something I should work on. Probably.
Right. So where have you been performing around Portland?
Just a couple like Proof Lounge and the Eagle. Fuck, what was it called? I've just done like a couple rooms, and like I said, I've just been like settling into Portland, and I haven't really explored anything yet. Was just trying to.
Right on.
It's
Are
great.
you trying to do it like once a week or
more if possible? I organized my work schedule around having time to do the mics, but I'm really gonna eat my hat if I putting this out on the internet or whatever, if I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it a lot, and then my own horrible procrastination and inertia, if I can't battle that enough and just go out and do it. To be honest, I feel like I've never felt like I considered myself an artist. Like I can write songs, and I like doing cartoons. Like that's the whole thing. Is like I worry because it's hard for me to be like a specialist. Like even in terms of like intellect, like I have what's called lateral knowledge, where it's I know a little bit about a lot of different things. I'm not a specialist in anything. Like I can appear kind of smart, but in terms of actually like getting into the real details of shit, I'm kind of at a loss.
Yeah, I'm a Jake of all trades too.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
So what are your goals and aspirations with comedy or music?
Just to get better.
Just to get better.
I think that's the only thing, right? I mean, if you're focusing on anything else, it's kind of you're kind of missing the thing, right? In terms of any art, like I don't know what end goal. I mean, I've never been a type of some people would consider me an underachiever because in terms like I've never really been someone who sets goals in terms of any kind of material consequence. I just I try and do what I do and I try and get better at it. But no, yeah, I can't see any real like I want it. Some people have that, and it's amazing that they can sustain both, where they can sustain that artistic integrity and keep getting better at something and have the whole thing in mind where I want to do this and I want to do that. You can major in comedy at Emerson College now. I think it's Emerson in Massachusetts, or
Crazy.
Amherst, or it's one of those like Western Mass or like Central Massachusetts. Western Massachusetts colleges. Like you can do that now. Like some people are like, oh well, this guy like Eugene Merman went to this and he majored in that, and I want to be a comedy writer and I want to do this and that. Like that always baffles me, where I'm like, I just try and think of funny stuff that I see. I just try and do that. I mean, maybe I'll fail miserably. Like I don't know. That's always in me, that fear. I guess that's the main. It's less of like an ambition to be better. It's more of a fear of being bad at something.
Well, if you continue to do it, that isn't really an option anymore. It's no longer not trying to be bad. It's
yeah. I mean, Yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, I worry about some things. Like I'm generally kind of like I'm never like even thinking back to when I was a kid, like I'm not complaining or anything. I've never just been like a really just one of those people that happiness came easy to. And I'm not saying I'm like to like, horribly depressed or morose or brooding or whatever. I'm just, I and sometimes I worry like in terms of my songwriting or in terms of writing jokes or whatever that actually being truly fulfilled will uh uh conflict with that will make it not work. I mean, my brain is fucked up. Like there are things I'd like to change about it, but then I worry that I wouldn't be me, I guess. It's like
you'd lose your edge, or
I get or just like lose the essence of what I have already. Like I don't want to lose what I have already. Like I think about that a lot. Like my dad, went to jail when I was like 3 for marijuana, by the way. Just they put him in a cage for 5 years with dangerous criminals for trying to sell some marijuana. So that's cool. And my dad always, gets welled up when he's like, "Man, I had plenty of money. If I hadn't went to jail, you'd be in medical school right now or whatever." And I'm like, yeah, that's nice to think about. And I would have preferred that my father didn't go to jail when I was a child, but I wouldn't be who I am, I guess. Which I mean, going down that road is never. If you want to talk about happiness, that's not really a good path to figuring out how to make yourself happy. In terms of being like, well, what if this happened, or what if I,
right.
did this or that, I mean, regrets. Do you have a lot of regrets?
I'm not someone to say that I don't have regrets, but
because I'm lucky if I can get through a day without doing something I regret. Like,
try to minimize mistakes without the goal of eliminating them is kind of the theme on life and art that I've taken recently. Like, try to get rid of as many mistakes as possible, but know you will never get rid of all the mistakes. And in those mistakes, you'll find the beauty and the humanness of the art or the person.
Yeah, that's almost like being a parent, eh? Like that's what I think about in terms of like being a parent. You would have to just minimize the mistakes.
Right.
You're never going to eliminate them. Like that's a job like nobody has gotten right completely.
It's true.
I guess that's like, yeah, what a metaphor, man. My art's like my children. Yeah, no, I can understand that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really have any goals, and I don't really. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I wish I could be a more hopeful person. Just I'm too much of a pragmatist, I guess.
Okay,
I don't know.
here's something. Another philosophy of mine, I guess. I have a lot of them. But I was never happy until I lost hope.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck hope.
Like, it was just like, wow, there's so much negative bullshit in the world, whether it be war in Africa or all around the world. The cops killing people. I mean...
Oh yeah, there's plenty of things to be bummed out by. And that's
But-
not saying that, like, don't enjoy your day just because kids are dying in
Right.
impoverished countries.
And I just, for so long, I took on the problems and hopes and dreams of the world and the problems of myself as well, and like the people around me. And when I just finally had to be like, all right, the world is a fucked up place. I just have to live and get by in it and like create my own happiness, and I have.
Yeah, that's cool. Can you teach me how to do that stuff? I think that's you got to teach yourself. That's one of those things, right?
I mean, I've had numerous mentors and teachers in the way of life and happiness, through books, through friends, family, people just passing on the street, and was like, God damn it, that was a fucking happy person.
Yeah.
And they didn't look like they had really anything in particular to be happy about. Like, everybody you come into contact with has something to teach you. It's like, whether or not you're listening.
Yeah, I think that's an issue of mine now. Like, I feel like I was a lot happier when I was less judgmental of people, and that's not meaning that, like, I think the majority. That's not me being like, you should be doing this or you should be doing that. I'm just not, like, I don't know. I used to look at a certain type of person and be like, God, that person has it all figured out. Like, that's a fucking smart, happy person. Like, they know what they're doing. And I guess just like maybe in engaging with the wrong people, or I don't know what it is, just meeting enough people where it's like you see through that eventually. Maybe it's just looking at the world through the wrong lens, but I definitely am. It's harder to make friends at my age now.
Well,
like, I don't
when
know.
you realize that everybody's fucked up,
Yeah.
and like some people, once again, some people choose their happiness. Some people choose to forget about their past and all the bullshit and like actually move forward in their lives and progress their lives, and in doing so they're able to progress the lives of the people around them.
Mm.
But you can't do that if you're hung up on the past or negativity or
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's that whole conundrum is I feel like, because I mean I am a positive person, I think, in terms of what I expect out of people, but like in term like, and I don't mean it in terms of every day I go around moping and saying that's fucked up, this is fucked up. When I deal with people, I'm generally pretty amicable, but I am generally a pretty negative person, I would say. Like, more so, I wouldn't call myself, not saying I'm a negative person, but I wouldn't call myself a positive person. I'm not a Pollyanna where I look at something and I say, this is the good thing, I'm more of a contrarian. Like, if I encounter somebody more negative than me, I have to be like, no, it's cool, man. Like, isn't that funny how, like, when somebody's, like, really freaking out, like, you on it all of a sudden become like just this calm like Freudian psychologist,
well,
where you're
you
just
can
like,
never give yourself advice because it's impossible to look at yourself from a bird's eye view.
Yeah, you can't give yourself advice because it's coming from the same place that the question is coming from. Right. Where it's,
and people tend to focus on one issue or one aspect of the issue, and that is the thing that weighs heaviest on their decision.
Yeah, like those are the two things I value most in life that really blow me away at this point is when you really have, like, because I laugh pretty frequently, but like, when you have that real fucking, like, when you really laugh where you're like building muscles like that. And yeah, just any opportunity I have where somebody can actually like change my perception about something, because I have pretty like concrete opinions about a lot of shit. I'm a stubborn motherfucker, and I think I'm correct. Like,
I am the same way.
So when somebody can like break me out of that bullshit, like that's always the coolest thing to me,
When your reality changes, whether it be like you believed one thing and then it's proven to be incorrect, and there is another reality that's contrary to the one you believed, there's an actual chemical reaction in your brain where the connections that were being made break, and different connections.
And some people don't recover from that. Like religious people, like that scares the shit out of some people. I fucking love it when that happens, when somebody can like break me out of my own bullshit. But like, yeah, some people can't recover from that, eh? Like,
or they like, even some people, when they're given truth, like, no matter how obvious it is, they just block it out, and they're like, no, like,
Yeah.
I was taught differently, so you're fucking wrong, no matter.
There's some word or some phrase I learned for that recently. I can't remember what it is, but when it's like, it's something about in terms of when somebody's doing research, where it's like, it's easy to ignore all of the info that's like leading you towards something that you don't believe, but in terms of something that you do believe, you'll find all the things that corroborate your opinion
Right.
with whatever you're looking for. And I think, yeah, that's just, I think it's probably present in my life in ways that I can't really see, like, because nobody has all the facts. I mean, like, you know, but yeah, I'll definitely yeah, if, reading something that you agree about. But then again, on the other side of that, sometimes I'll read like I'll find an article and I'll start reading it, and it's just you know, justifying all the things that I believe, and I get bored really quickly. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, I've had a lot of psychedelic experiences, and there was a time when I really liked reading about that, but then now when reading about that, it's like hearing somebody describe their dream. It's like, all right, we're in for a really boring story right now. Like, this is gonna be,
It's gonna be awesome for you.
yeah, it's so much fun to tell, but nobody's enjoying you here, you know, just because because that's the whole problem, is it takes effort to really like try and video Birth of America. I don't know if they picked up on that yet or not, but because you're really trying to make an effort to like visualize this thing that this person, like, by all rights experienced, you know, chemically in their brain, but it just doesn't have the same thing. And it's like the person telling it is so trying to be like, you know, really trying to get it across to you, but it's just not gonna, you know,
it's completely nonsensical, because you weren't the one that visualized and experienced it.
yeah.
And I mean, you're trying to explain in a sensical realm something that is logical, like,
Yeah.
to somebody that didn't experience what you experienced. They're just gonna like look at you like, I want to understand, man.
Yeah.
I do.
It's like trying to describe like a human respiratory system to a snowman. It's just like they don't have the tools to understand what you're talking
And
about.
then I was everything.
Yeah.
And when I breathed in, the universe went inside of me, and when I breathed out, I was the Big Bang.
If you've ever told that kind of story to someone and you think you were understood, you weren't. It's like people will try. I'll nod and go, "That's awesome," but nah, it just doesn't make it in, you know. And that's the funny thing. Like you'll have a dream, and you'll like. I've actually started. I had this dream. Yeah, never mind. The end. Like, I'm not gonna subject anybody to that.
Yeah. So, the last thing that I wanted to talk about was the gallery that we're going to throw.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be August 28th,
Okay.
the fourth fucking Friday of the month. Triple F party.
Very nice.
Fourth F and Friday.
I'll get that Saturday off.
I have an event on Facebook. You're not on Facebook, are you?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I was wandering over to my ex's page too often, and I cut it off at a certain point, and I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'll put it back on. I need to keep in touch with friends who are in other countries, so.
Right on.
But I wouldn't want to do stand-up at a house party.
Okay, but, so probably won't get any stand-up, but you are interested in playing some music that evening.
Yeah, I'll play some music.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I just, like, if it were set up like a stand-up show where you had other people, but like trying to do stand-up at a house party is just, it just doesn't, it's not gonna work.
Right on.
Nobody wants to listen politely to, that's the great thing about music, is you can just prepare it alone in your room, get out there, and just, even if if people aren't interested, you just keep going. It's got a rhythm to it, a time, like, you know, comedy is like a conversational kind of thing. You can't just get up there and, you know, say your shit and leave and like it has any value, you know.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so we hope to see everybody there. Here, there's going to be free booze, free food, live music. There's going to be painting on the walls. My friend Erica Arneson is going to be face painting.
There's going to be a petting zoo,
Yeah,
a Ferris wheel, Time Crisis. We have the Time Crisis people coming here, and they're going to set up a whole booth. Yeah, supplemented with drugs, and you just like plug a thing into the back of your neck. And
Bring your cocaine.
cocaine, that's good for Time Crisis. Not so good for the Ferris wheel. You get a little fidgety. You got nowhere to go up there, you know.
Except down.
And the person next to you
And then up again.
is just gonna. Well, yeah, that's. It's actually a perfect metaphor for cocaine. Actually, yeah. Cocaine is for Ferris wheels. Just make sure whoever you're on the Ferris wheel with is doing cocaine as well, so that you don't give them an aneurysm for talking into their, talking about your childhood. Somebody who doesn't give a fuck. That's always been my experience on cocaine. Yeah, having these really like in-depth, like deep conversations, and they're about like Pepsi versus Coke or something. Dude,
I have ideas like, let's play chess, but naked, and we'll turn porn on.
Dude,
we'll play chess.
Dude, we should start a business together, man. We need to open a food truck. Now's the time, dude. Are you a cook? No. Are you a cook? No. But we can do it. I have unlimited confidence right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I'm just talking so fast, and I feel great. I'm ready.
Is amazing.
All right.
Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in and listening to us babble. It's our pleasure. This is day 116 of the Art Life video blog, and we're gonna come back here soon, and Connor's gonna play a song or two, and I'll post that as a second video.
Right on. All right.
Love you guys.
Bye bye.